This video examines a critical moral issue, the public announcement by YouTuber Jesse Ridgway regarding the decision to terminate a pregnancy following a diagnosis of Down syndrome. We will explore the timeline and the rhetoric used during this event, which was broadcast to over 4 million viewers. On June 3, 2026, Jesse Ridgway announced the termination of a 21-week pregnancy. The reasoning cited a diagnosis of trisomy 21 and heart defects, framed as a preventative measure for a difficult future. The language used during the announcement has drawn significant criticism, particularly the claim that Down syndrome is objectively poor from a health perspective. Critics argue this reduces human value to mere clinical status. This situation highlights concerns about the exploitation of personal life for content. The child was featured in previous pregnancy updates, leading many to view the sudden termination as a reduction of human life to a narrative prop. The assertion that a child with Down syndrome constitutes a lifelong burden has been widely challenged, with many emphasizing the joy and love that individuals with the condition bring to their families and communities. Following the announcement, over 18,000 comments were posted, many from families expressing a willingness to adopt a child with Down syndrome. These offers were ultimately rejected. We must now deconstruct the broader implications of this event, specifically looking at the ethics surrounding the search for perfection and the history of eugenics. Critics point to the underlying logic of selecting life based on biological fitness as a form of consumer eugenics, where children are treated as products subject to quality control. Data suggests a different reality regarding the quality of life for those with Down syndrome, with high reported levels of happiness and strong family bonds that contradict the misery narrative. While the child's heart defect was cited as a primary reason for the termination, modern pediatric cardiology often treats these conditions with high success rates, raising questions about the necessity of the decision. It is argued that a diagnosis is not destiny. Many individuals with Down syndrome go on to live independent, successful lives, an opportunity that was removed by the choice to terminate at 21 weeks. The announcement triggered a significant global backlash, reflecting a deep divide and a call for renewed moral clarity on the value of life. Public figures have weighed in, with House Speaker Mike Johnson describing the situation as a troubling example of cultural decline regarding the respect for human life. Former Planned Parenthood Director Abby Johnson also publicly condemned the rhetoric surrounding the announcement, emphasizing the human rights perspective of the unborn child. This video now examines the, quote, dog contradiction. Critics have noted the irony that significant medical resources were used to save the life of Jesse Ridgway's dog, Hulk, from cancer, while a medical challenge regarding his own child led to the choice of termination. In subsequent posts, the creators attempted to frame themselves as victims of online harassment. Many commentators have criticized this as a form of narcissistic deflection, focusing on their personal pain while ignoring the finality of their decision. We must also consider the lives that were devalued. Evidence shows that individuals with Down syndrome often achieve significant personal and professional success, and their siblings frequently report that these relationships make them better people. The situation also highlights a rejection of community support. Despite hundreds of families being ready to adopt the child and the availability of world-class resources, the chosen outcome was the termination of the pregnancy. This next section explores the broader impact of these actions on the disabled community and the shifting landscape of cultural ethics. At 21 weeks, the child was a fully formed human with a beating heart and active movement. Critics emphasize he was not a clump of cells, Buddha's son who had already been introduced to millions as a family member. By using a massive platform to normalize disability as a reason for termination, the creator has been accused of promoting a form of, quote, digital eugenics, setting a dangerous precedent for future generations. When influential voices promote the termination of children based on perceived imperfections, we risk moving toward a culture that lacks diversity and unconditional love. Medical science is constantly pushing the boundaries of viability. By 2026, many babies born at 21 to 22 weeks are able to survive and thrive with proper neonatal care, challenging the necessity of the decision. If a diagnosis like trisomy 21 is deemed enough to warrant termination, it raises difficult questions about where the line is drawn. This logic can lead to a slippery slope of selecting humans based on convenience. We move now to a final moral verdict and resources for those seeking to choose life. Jesse Ridgway had the influence and resources to be an advocate for the disabled community. Instead, his public announcement remains a significant point of controversy and a deep moral concern for many. Ultimately, the argument stands that our value is inherent, granted by a higher purpose rather than by our physical capabilities or societal fitness. For those seeking support or information on adoption and advocacy for children with Down syndrome, organizations like NDSAN, NDSS, and the Global Down Syndrome Foundation offer vital resources. We must remain vigilant in challenging media narratives that devalue human life, ensuring we uphold the dignity of every individual, regardless of their diagnosis. The monetization of this tragedy, turning a personal termination into viral content, is viewed by many as a profound ethical failure that prioritizes engagement over human dignity. In a society that values compassion, we must stand firm for the inestimable dignity of every person, resisting the urge to discard life based on external circumstances. Rejecting convenience as a guiding principle, we hold that a medical challenge, regardless of the severity, is never a justification for a death sentence. Adoption remains a powerful alternative, offering a future where every child is treated as an irreplaceable treasure, regardless of their health status or diagnosis. Challenging the prevailing narrative, we affirm that a life with Down syndrome is a life full of meaning, worth living, and fundamentally equal in value. Accountability is essential. Influencers hold immense power, and it is vital to hold them responsible for the moral choices they present to millions of viewers. Our inherent dignity is not defined by where we live, our natural talents, or our physical health. It is an immutable characteristic of our humanity. True hope is found in the depths of unconditional love, rather than in the fleeting pursuit of a perfect physical form. Every child deserves the fundamental chance to breathe, to experience the world, and to be loved for exactly who they are. We must issue a final moral verdict. The quote, eugenics of influence must be rejected in its entirety to protect the sanctity of future generations. This is a call to conscience. Jesse Ridgway's announcement is a permanent stain, and we must reject the trend of devaluing the most vulnerable. There are many resources available for those seeking to stand for the vulnerable and choose life. Please seek support from organizations that champion human dignity. The images presented in this video were sourced from various educational and media repositories, highlighting the diverse perspectives on this ongoing debate. We thank you for viewing this analysis. Upholding the value of all human life is a responsibility we share together.